All right, so this is going to be a film study video about Del'Shawn Phillips, an underrated, relatively unknown player for the Baltimore Ravens, probably within the Ravens fan base, certainly outside of the Ravens fan base. I remember when the Ravens claimed Del'Shawn Phillips off waivers. I think the Jets waived him last year in the preseason, right around a year ago. I think it was a little late August, maybe the 30th. And at the time I was impressed by some of his 2021 film with the Jets. Now the two games from 2021 that he played the most snaps at inside linebacker were two games the Jets got blown out. So it's easy to discount the stats, and that's fine. But when I show you the film, man, hopefully you're as impressed as I am. If not, we're just different. That's okay, and that's okay. But this is a guy who I watched play Saturday night, and when I got the film, specifically the end zone angle film, and saw some of the things, it just made me smile. Don't even know the dude, but I suspect I know some things about him, and I'll speculate on that as we get to the video. 2021, 30 tackles, 1 sack, a fumble recovery. But when Ravens signed him, a special teams guy. That's what he was, and that's what he was last year. He only played one defensive snap in 2022 for the Ravens, around 15 to 20 special team snaps per game in 2022 for the Ravens. I think he missed 1 week for being inactive. Well, man, look, in Saturday's game against the Eagles, this guy was everywhere. I think he played 58 snaps. I love the motor that he showed in that game, the angles he takes at inside linebacker, playing strong side sometimes, weak side sometimes, and just the force that he plays with. If you don't know, he had 10 tackles, 5 solos, 1 TFL, at least 1 knockdown, which is a beautiful play if you're a defensive minded person like I am. I'm not sure how many of his tackles was on special teams, but look, let's be honest. He's not going to have much opportunity to play for the Ravens with Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith there, right? That's obvious. There's no opportunities, in fact. But someone forgot to tell this guy, and I think there's something to be said about that, and it really makes me have a lot of joy watching the film of the way he played, trying to take advantage of his opportunity. To me, he played like he was competing for a spot. Let's get to the film of a 26-year-old inside linebacker, turned 27 this year. Hopefully it impresses you the way it did me. All right, this first play is a run concept early in the game, and Del'Shawn Phillips is up here to the boundary, to the tight end side, strong side. Twin wing formation. Eagles are in 12 personnel. Watch Phillips come downhill now, right now, and just deck one of the pulling linemen. Travis Jones plays a big part in this. I'll let the all-22 loop one more time, then we'll look at the end zone. Travis Jones plays a big part in this, not getting scooped on the backside. Tavius Robinson ends up getting knocked to the ground. Were it not for the way that Del'Shawn Phillips takes this on, there could very well be a scene there with Travis Jones, trying to run it down from inside out. As it were, with no edge created here, Del'Shawn Phillips, in fact, creates an edge by dumping this pulling lineman on the ground. For me, he would get points. And when I say that, some of you may not understand. We had a defensive production chart where knockdowns was worth a certain amount of points. Now, cheap shots, knockdowns didn't count. And in fact, if you got a penalty for a cheap shot, it was minus however many yards. So our normal production points, the best players in each game, 20 to 25 points. Sometimes you get a 30-point game. Every now and then that one kid get a 54. But if you got a 15-yard penalty, it's minus 15. If you got a 5-yard penalty, it's minus 5. This will be a knockdown for us because he's absolutely in the flow of normal gameplay, taking an offensive lineman who's huge. I know that, maybe his feet got tripped up, but the way Del'Shawn Phillips took on that block opened my eyes, live speed, and just draws respect for me. All right, similar run concept, 12 personnel. Now flip to the other side. You got 2 tight ends on the left of our screen. Look, David Ojabo and Brent Urban do a fantastic job here. All right, I've already talked about this in the David Ojabo video. If you didn't watch it, please check it out. I'll try to link it up at this timestamp or maybe in the description. I thought he did some better things than he's receiving credit for, and this is one of those plays. But Del'Shawn Phillips on the backside. He's on the backside. Watch the angle he takes. Urban and Ojabo is handling it on the front side, but Phillips's angle, look, he's unblocked, okay? So he should get to the football. That's absolutely true. One of the concepts or one of the things I used to try to teach kids and coaches was if it's a run play from one side, meaning the running back is on the defense's right, and he's going to the left side. He's crossing the midline, okay? The midline is, where the ball is between the quarterback, center, and the football. So he's crossing the midline. Somebody between the nose tackle and the backside inside linebacker has to cross the midline with him. You got to match the numbers. In this case, Travis Jones goes backside. This is not like a backdoor technique in terms of playing the backside and letting the backside inside linebacker flow over the top. I don't think this is intentional necessarily the way that Travis Jones is playing it, but conceptually this fits with what I'm saying. Travis Jones doesn't cross the midline. Well, he does cross the midline, but the center is on the leverage side, the correct leverage side. Del'Shawn Phillips is a free run to get over the top because the Eagles are pulling front side linemen. Could the play be stopped by Urban and Ojabo? Absolutely. Del'Shawn Phillips played a part in it. I don't even know if he got credit for a tackle here, but I felt like this just illustrated one of the things that I was taught about defense, stopping the run. And look, Del'Shawn Phillips was just not going to be denied on Saturday. 10 tackles in 58 snaps. May not be a big deal to you because it's a preseason game, but it is to me. All right, so this is a 4th and 1. I think it's in the third quarter. There's Del'Shawn Phillips. And notice he's to the weak side. So the tight end is on our left. The defense is right. And now Malik Harrison, is to that side. He's lined up at Sam linebacker, outside linebacker. So him and Phillips was switching between strong side inside linebacker and weak side. Anyway, it's a really cool play. Great design by the Eagles. Conceptually, this is just a triple option. I did a video on this one as well. Hopefully you can tell I'm having fun trying to create content for people, and if you enjoy it, let me know. If not, let me know as well because I'd like to improve it. But the way this works for triple option, or really for any concept, it's an RPO, is the O-line's going to block for the give. They're going to block for the running back as if he's getting the football. Occasionally, less and less now, but occasionally you'll see O-linemen get called for being too far downfield. With the way the game is officiated and what the NFL and college football wants nowadays, you see less and less of that called. So a little condensation in my voice, or condescension in my voice there, if you couldn't tell. But watch Del'Shawn Phillips fit this. That's my point. The O-line is blocking, trying to get to him, and they can't. It's a completed pass. Greg Ward gets a first down. Eagles do a great job of screening Kevon Seymour running across. Look how abrupt he is coming downhill. No, he's not going to play over Patrick Queen. He's not going to play over Roquan Smith, obviously. There might be a situation in a game this year where one of those guys goes down, for a series or two, or maybe in the mid-third quarter, and this guy's got to – this might be the next guy up. I'm telling you, this might be the next guy up based on the film from this game. The fit is good. Cool design by the Eagles. They take advantage of us. O-line, like I said, is blocking for the give. They're blocking for the run. If the ball was handed off, Del'Shawn Phillips is there. I think it was 4th and 1, maybe a 4th and 2, or maybe a 4th and long one. But Del'Shawn Phillips is absolutely there, and he doesn't take a cheap shot knockdown, kind of like I referred to earlier, because he sees the running back don't have the football. Hopefully that makes sense to you, even though it's not a play where Del'Shawn Phillips receives anything statistically. I think it's an indication of how he was playing Saturday night. Who knows, he may not play that well in the next preseason game, but I wanted to shed some light on him for this one. All right, some more run fits. Get the all-22 here first. Eagles have the Ravens' defensive backs to the wall. He just stays balanced, square, and gets involved in the tackle. I'll run this back a couple times. Just watch his steps and how under control he is. Redirects. Look, he's unblocked, okay? He's unblocked. Some linebackers just find the running back. Some do. Some don't. Some overflow things. Del'Shawn Phillips looks like a guy who, I don't know what terms or phrases he's been taught, or what the Ravens coaches say. Obviously, we would talk about, open windows and closed windows. If you're trying to rob somebody's house, you're not going to go through a closed window. You're going to look for open window. If there is one, you're going to take it. You want to slip in through the screen and not have to knock down the glass or anything and make too much noise. So open windows, Del'Shawn Phillips finds them, even when the window is damn near shut like this one, and he fits the running back there. He's going to match the running back's path. Whatever he does, whatever he's been taught, whatever terminology people have ingrained in his head or he knows, it works. He's a really good football player, and that's why I'm doing a video on a guy who, probably won't play more than 10 or 15 defensive snaps for the Ravens this year. Another end zone angle fit. He's just good at this. He's going to fit off. I think this is the one where he's going to fit off the combo block of Travis Jones expertly. He's just going to make Travis Jones right. We used to call this cancel gaps drill. So if Travis Jones was to end up on this side, then Del'Shawn Phillips try to hit it on the front side. As it is, Travis Jones is fighting, working to try to get here, and Del'Shawn Phillips going to fit it on the backside. It's just a great run fit. It looks simple because he makes it look simple, because he's very good at it. And the passion that he played with, man, some guys are bottom of the pile guys. Now, we got the benefit of the end zone angle here. So we know that he's at the bottom of the pile. He made the tackle. But sometimes when you're watching the game from up in the stands or from the all 22, or a coach's box, like I used to occasionally, you're like, who made that tackle? Who made that tackle? And there's a guy who's on the bottom of the pile all the time. There's usually one or two of them on the defense. Del'Shawn Phillips looks like one of those guys. All right, one more run fit, just because these are pure fun for me to watch. Hopefully you can tell by the sound of my voice and the respect that I'm trying to show him with this video. We're blessed to have football season back right now, and I'm having a whole heck of a lot of fun. Jones ends up in A-gap this time. Kind of gets taken down. You can see pushed this way. And what looks like a gap developing here is kind of closed off by this edge defender, number 56, whose name is escaping me for a second. And he makes first contact, but Del'Shawn Phillips makes second, and again, ends up on the bottom of the pile. Well, he's the second guy from the bottom of the pile. He just makes it look easy. Of course, when you're unblocked and you don't have blockers to deal with, it does look easier. However, you remember the first play that I showed you. When he took on the block by the offensive lineman, he absolutely KO'd him or KD'd him. All right, some pass concepts here, some play. Actually, let me go back to that one second. I don't know this to be true in terms of Del'Shawn Phillips, but this is A-gun. So I talked about this in my reaction video a little bit Saturday night. This is A-gun pro, so meaning the tight end is on the line of scrimmage, and presumably we've got someone, off screen, a Z receiver who's off the line. So that's why we call pro. If the tight end's feet was back here off the line, and the receiver who's off screen to our right was on the line, that would be A-gun slot. I'm going to give you two stats. I kind of misquoted a little bit in the reaction video, or I didn't have complete stats. A-gun slot was 8 for 8, either run or RPO. 8 for 8, either run or RPO. So at least RPO has the run threat. A-gun pro, which is what you see right here, was 3 for 4, meaning 3 runs and 1 pass. So you're talking about 12 plays out of A-gun that I had charted, and 11 of them were run plays or an RPO. Del'Shawn Phillips looks like a guy who knows. And I can't prove that. Won't ever get an opportunity to talk to the dude or anybody who's involved with this team, even though I love him so much. But this looks like a guy who knows, who during the game is getting information. And now they use different terms than me, I'm sure. A-gun is back, tight end, same side. B-gun is, the back's feet would be over here, and the tight end would still be there. Or the back would still be here, and the tight end's feet will be over on this side. That would be B-gun. As it stands, this is A. You don't think the players get that information during the game? You're damn right they do. This looks like a guy who knows. I didn't see evidence early in the game of anyone communicating with a lot of force pre-snap, but Del'Shawn Phillips looks like a guy who knows something. All right, let's do some pass stuff because I'm sure there's going to be people who ask about it. I don't know him to be a great pass defender. This is a short completion to the boundary. Eagles get a first down on a 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2. I think this is like 4th or 5th play of the game, something like that. But I could be wrong. But you can see it's light out, so it's early. Eagles get the first down on a snag smash concept. First of all, the Ravens ran this last year. I suspect that they will run it again this year. It's a cool concept. You're going to get the tight end on like a corner route. The Z receiver is going to motion down. He's got the snag. And then the flat route by the running back. It's a 3-on-3 to the boundary. Z, tight end, halfback on corner, safety, boundary side, inside linebacker. That's why boundary side, inside linebacker is such a tough position to play, because you're asked to cover in a way you're not protected by the nickel defender. You don't have a second level defender outside of you like a nickel defender, like Kyle Hamilton played last year. And just for us Ravens fans, get used to concepts like this offensively, where we're attacking to the boundary intentionally. Look at the numbers that have been created. You got a 3-on-3. It's more simple than just numbers, clearly. But what do you got down here? Well, just sheer math. You got 2-on-3, and if you depending on how you want to count the free safety, numbers wise, even though there's less space to the boundary, numbers wise it's more even. I think Todd Monken's going to attack to the boundary a lot. Could be wrong, but I think we're going to be talking about this at some point, or at various points during the season, about attacking to the boundary, making boundary side inside linebackers cover, and putting boundary side corners that everyone thinks is the premium cover guy because they're generally covering the X, putting them in situations where they have to make decisions based on route concepts. Like for example, this one where the Z walks down and this tight end ends up taking the vertical, and this snag concept. I didn't exactly draw that up well that second time, but point being, forcing switches by the defense, getting that boundary side corner, if he is the premium cover guy over there, getting him to cover something that's not the primary option or the primary target on the play. Hopefully, I said that in a way that makes sense. I think the Ravens are going to do a lot of that. In any case, we're talking about Del'Shawn Phillips. I think he did a good job on that play. All right, this is a fourth down stop. I love this play. Love it from the end zone angle. Watch the team defense. Kevon Seymour, Del'Shawn Phillips, and Daryl Worley. Three guys who, we're not looking for to play a whole. Brandon Stevens as well, given effort. Three guys who we're not looking for to play a ton of defensive snaps this year, but Daryl Worley's played significant snaps against the Cincinnati Bengals twice in the last 2 years. Once in 2021, and he competed his butt off against Jamar Chase, and then once last year in the Week 17 game, and I think he played quite well at corner there. They moved him to safety. It's an interesting development for me. I'm going to do a video on him Tuesday afternoon. But watch how they exchange responsibilities on the fly. Worley right now is lined up to the back. If you got to give here, I suspect that this guy's going to run down the line, force a keep read by the quarterback, and Worley is going to run at the quarterback. I suspect that's what this is. The Ravens had done this earlier to the other side and have been unsuccessful earlier in the game. Additionally, Kevon Seymour is man on that guy right there. Phillips, I suspect, is got a man relationship to the back, depending on where he goes. Watch how Seymour, Phillips, and Phillips run into each other, actually. They run into each other briefly. Seymour's behind his man. Worley looks like he's in prime position to go contain the quarterback, but he sees a receiver trying to cross his face, takes him. They just adjust this on the fly. I think this is just great team defense. Seymour's not supposed to be doing this. He's just adapting during the play. He had to have seen Worley take his guy, and then Del'Shawn Phillips is, secondary contained, not able to get there involved in the play. You may not be as impressed with that play as I am, but think about this. Del'Shawn Phillips played 58 snaps. Daryl Worley plays 75. 75, 77. He played 100% of the defensive snaps. Kevon Seymour, I think, played 58. These guys are playing their butts off, playing hard here in the second half, but they're being smart while doing so. I love this play. It's probably my favorite play from the game because of the team defense nature. I didn't really talk about, Brandon Stevens, giving effort and trying to push that tight end, out of bounds, even though he wasn't aware of the fact. But you can see him adjusting during the play, and then he tries to get hands on the guy and be physical, and his, push does end up getting this guy's foot out of bounds. So even though it's a catch or appears to be a catch, ends up being out of bounds. All right, last play doesn't involve Del'Shawn Phillips at all. Really going to talk about Christian Welch and then Daryl Worley again. If you can't tell, Daryl Worley is one of my favorite players. Christian Welch trips to running back. Daryl Worley got involved in everything. Like I said, played 75 snaps. I've never played 75 snaps in a game. Have you? You ever played 25? Daryl Worley is tough as nails, and he's committed. The ball's coming downhill. You got a guard pulling up on Christian Welch. Welch is going to shed the block and then strip the guy to make the tackle. And here comes Daryl Worley like a bat out of you-know-what, trying to get involved with the play. Great play. Ravens force a turnover. You guys, let me know if you're as impressed with some of these guys. Clearly, they're not playing against starters. Here's Welch. That's Worley's feet up there to the top. Again, Del'Shawn Phillips, the point of this video is not on the field, but just trying to shed light on some of the guys and some of the gameplay. Obviously, I'll do the same thing for our players when the Ravens are winning the games this year and their defense is making big plays like this. Look at Welch take on the pulling tackle, It's a log block. So he's pulling all the way around and then leading up on Welch. And Welch sheds him and then makes the tackle. My favorite drills was always inside linebacker and strong safety run fits. We try to get the kids fired up during the week. And I think that Del'Shawn Phillips, maybe even Christian Welch, those are the types of guys that they get fired up to stop the run. They get fired up to come downhill and hit people and get involved. I don't think the game was real fun to watch in the first half for Ravens fans, up till the point that Justin Tucker nailed that 60-yarder. But this guy right here put on a show. Maybe he'll never get the chance to do that again in his NFL career, but at least for one night, guy had 10 tackles in an NFL game. I don't know anybody personally who ever had that, so I wanted to shed some light and show some respect and shout out to him and the way that some of those guys played. Daryl Worley, Kevon Seymour, with a lot of effort. There's some times where they got beat. Clearly, we know that. That's been well documented. But I thought this was worth making a video about. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Didn't mean for it to go 20 minutes long, but it is what it is. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video. If you were as impressed by Del'Shawn Phillips' play, no matter who he's playing against or in NFL uniform, they're getting paid money to play on Saturday night, and we're not. We're either paying money or we're making time out of our schedule to watch them play. If you appreciated the video, if you think other Ravens fans would appreciate the video or would enjoy it, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it on social media to help this content get more reach.